So Amenhotep I had established that the burial, which was in the Horus's mother's mountain, which we call the Valley of the Kings, and the mortuary temple were separated. So that case continued. Deir was chosen probably for two reasons. First reason is a spectacular scene with the cliffs behind. It would have been amazing for the visitors. And the purpose of this mortuary temple is for people to come and ask special favours of the dead king, the dead queen's spirit after she's died. So she's there. It's there for her to be worshipped as a living god. The second choice of Deir is, of course, next door is the funeral monument of Montuhotep, Nebhepetra, who had reunited Upper and Lower Egypt together to create the 11th dynasty and Middle Kingdom. So you're going to get a lot of hardcore value by building next to him, a lot of prestige. The lower tier is about her lifetime achievements, her trade missions, and how good and wonderful she is. The middle tiers is about the relationship she has with the gods. And there's a birthing scene where she's born by the gods. So when she was born, she wasn't a human like us. She was born as a living god. Wow. Also, you can see reliefs of her relationship with Anubis, Osiris, of course, and her personal relationship with herself and Amun-Ra. And you can see that they hold hands, they touch. There's a personal relationship between them. The upper tier is her as the Osirian, as the living god to be worshipped, with the sacred sanctuary and a gateway to the afterlife. So, if you think about the situation, you have the tomb on one side of the mountain and the mortuary temple on the other. Now, when they were building pyramids, the mortuary temple was connected to the pyramid. It was built by the side. And we know the purpose of the mortuary temple is to feed the dead ruler's spirit. Now, if you've got them separated, how are you going to solve the problem of feeding a spirit, a dead king or queen spirit, when they're buried somewhere else? Well, the Egyptians solved this problem by creating a new spell, which was called the Going Forth by Day spell. And that enabled the spirit to leave their tomb and cross the mountain to their mortuary temple, where they would receive the offerings provided for them by the mortuary cult. So mortuary cults were established at these temples, and even when the ruler was dead, the mortuary cult survived for that purpose. And of course, it was a place where people would make a great pilgrimage, asking favours of the dead, in this case, Queen/King's spirit. Interestingly, she was a female, she was a queen, but she ruled Egypt in the guise of a king. And king could be male or female. There had been previous queens before who became king. So it was for the public relations, they were depicted as males, which was quite interesting. She proceeded towards the tiers. She had pits dug either side of the processional way and filled with earth, and in those pits she had those trees from Punt planted. So the mortuary cult would have to have a caravan of water supplies to water these trees maybe once every 2 or 3 days. So they needed lots of mortuary lands to support that activity, providing for the dead Queen/King's spirit, and also the day-to-day management of the site, keeping it clean, keeping it orderly, watering the trees, making sure everything was fine and that their duties were successful. The inner core of the structure is local stone, and the outer core, the final fine dressing, is white Tura limestone, which came 1,000 kilometers away at the Tura quarries, which are in Lower Egypt. So what they tended to do when they built pylons and big structures is they jumbled together the inner core, which was local stone, but the outer core that you saw, the fine dressing, was Tura limestone. With the death of Hatshepsut, her stepson and nephew Thutmose III came to the throne, and boy, he did have an amazing career. Hatshepsut had ruled Egypt for between 19 and 20 years. She was officially co-regent with Thutmose III for 3 or 4 years before she declared herself as King of Egypt. And remember, there were 2 factions, her faction and the Thutmoside faction. He was only a young boy, 3 or 4. When he ascends to the throne, he's in his early 20s. So there are some exciting things to come. And while all of this is going on, the world outside of Egypt is also changing. So we must talk about that in the next instalment, which is Thutmose III. Thank you for listening. I hope it's been informative. Don't forget to press that subscribe button. That would be really helpful if you had not already subscribed. Please encourage your friends to visit and view some of these videos. And if they like them, then they too can subscribe. I'd like to go to Egypt and make a video tour of Bahari. Now, to do that, it would require funding. So if you have a look at the link at the end of this video, you can make a donation at GoFundMe, maybe a £1 or £3, it would all help. Thank you so much. Bye for now.